Hi, this is our social dilemma project.
Our topic is like social media and tech through the generations and how they use it and how that is affecting things in general today.
Yeah.
Let's start with boomers.
Yeah, let's start off with boomers. Thank you. Yeah, so some things with boomers I wanted to talk about, just like how they use technology. Something that I have in my notes here is just that there's like a rise in screen use with boomers, and it's not that they're like using it and like it affects them in a bad way. It's that they're already in a bad place, and so then they turn to technology. So this says that like just to quote this, where younger adults tend to become isolated after overusing smartphones, older adults tend to turn to phones after cognitive declines or being isolated from family and friends.
So it's like younger generations become isolated when they use technology, and boomers use technology as a result of already being isolated.
So they like turn to it for, I don't know, some sort of like comfort or dopamine, or like just to help them get through cognitive decline or just coping with being isolated. And then another thing I wanted to talk about with boomers is, let me find it. Okay.
Yeah.
Something that I was wondering about while I was doing my research is, does social media and technology use in boomers affect dementia? Like, does it cause dementia? Does it make it worse? Does it, I don't know. I was just wondering about that, and so I found this quote that talked about that. I found this article that talked about it, and it said, while there's not like actual evidence that it causes dementia, it can certainly increase the risk of it. So it says, several studies have found a link between internet use and cognitive changes. One study explored the impact of sedentary behaviors, including using the computer and watching TV, on overall dementia risk. According to the results, more time spent on cognitively passive behaviors led to an increased risk of dementia. And something I just thought of was when I was researching how it affects like younger generations too, and we'll get to that later, but it said something about how it affects memory in kids. Like if they're like on their phone before bed or something, they can't remember what they learned the previous day in school. So, and we'll get to that later, but
well, and then there's Gen X, which is kind of the forgotten generation, you know.
Yeah, there was like no research about that.
For real. But I know something I noticed is that they kind of are, from what I've seen, the most responsible generation with the technology. So according to a survey, 28% of Gen X uses social media to search for products to buy. They like to use things like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook is a big one. And Gen X isn't using social media to like just shop or get like entertainment. They're also using it to further their careers and their businesses, which I found like it's a valid use of technology. And it's not like every single person in Gen X is using it responsibly or irresponsibly, but that's just a cool statistic.
Yeah, that's very interesting that they're using it the best, and like good on them for doing that, because and that's like one of the upsides of technology is like that it can further business. It is like a useful resource for like shopping and stuff online, and when you can't like get to a store or whatever. So
okay, here's where the real stuff happens, and most of our research comes into play.
Here's where it gets scary.
Like millennials and down. Millennials and ADHD. I want to talk about that. So we know about like neuroplasticity. I'm pulling up my research. It involves adaptive and structural change to the brain. When you're young, your brain has an accelerated state of neuroplasticity, and it is strongest during early childhood. So like, we're getting like way branching off, but like just like we're gonna be talking a lot about that in like Gen Alpha and Gen Z. But we know that dopamine hits and ADHD. ADHD is all for that. Like it's rough, man.
ADHD has a lot to do with like attention span, and so like a big symptom of ADHD is not being able to focus on one thing for like a long amount of time. And so we see that a lot we see like social media almost like adapting to the ADHD brain with like reels, which are really short, and so they keep you locked in for like just a short amount of time, and then you're on to the next thing. And so that's what is interesting about like tech and ADHD is it's like I wouldn't say it's causing ADHD, but maybe it's like promoting or like encouraging some ADHD behaviors, such as short attention spans.
To draw this back to the millennials, they have the highest rates of ADHD. and I think it's interesting because they also tend to spend a lot of time on social media, and we've seen a positive correlation between like ADHD on the rise and social media usage.
It's true, yeah.
So if you've ever heard anyone be like, oh, everyone has ADHD these days, like, they might be right in some sort of way. Because, I mean, obviously, it's not everyone has ADHD these days. That is a wild statement. A whole nother topic. But, like, they're not completely wrong. Talk about the statistics. Not about ADHD much anymore. But among adult smartphone users in Korea, 18.1% in 2018 were reported to be at risk for overdependence on mobile devices. The highest average daily time spent on smartphones was found among younger millennials in their 20s and 30s. So that's where we can kind of, I don't know, tend to group them in with Gen Z as well. But the average for all online adults in general is 2 hours and 20 minutes per day. But for many millennials, like, a key reason that they do it is like identity formation, as seen in the one blog that we will talk about. That one blog, freaking.
It's really funny.
And they have this social media presence to, like, they want to decide how they're perceived by other people. There's this one blog, we're absolutely calling this person out. It's titled 8 Reasons Why Millennials Are Addicted to Social Media, and it's written by Paige Grunewald. I don't know, man. It is...
Can I just, like, read a few quotes?
Read a few quotes from this, please.
Okay, so some of her reasons in order are: we love to share, inspire, and entertain. We express who we are. We want to show off the things we are doing. We get excited and feel good when we receive comments.
That one. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, we get excited and feel good when we receive comments.
Do you know how many horrible comments there are online? Okay, the like underlined part that it has in like explaining this reason is it reassures our self-esteem when people comment and compliment our posts. Yeah, but how much does it destroy your self-esteem when people say bad things? And there's so much more. Like,
on that again, like, do you realize that you're just being like spoon-fed what social media wants you to be doing? They want you to care about that so much that it is your life now. They want engagement from you. They want you to be checking these. They want you to be posting things. But
some other quotes. We enjoy sharing things that we do, but sometimes we do things just to post it on social media. That's not a good thing.
No, that's not.
That's not a good thing. If you're living your life only for social media, you're not actually living your life.
No.
Oh, let me see. Okay. Yeah, and then we express who we are through photos, posts, shares, retweets, and stories. Why not just go and talk to people, meet people, introduce yourself to people, and then that's how you express who you are.
Yeah, I believe there was another quote in it, and it's like, we love to share with people what we're doing, and that's how we, like, engage with people. Go outside. Go outside, please.
Yes.
Go to a library. Go to a concert. Just go outside. Please go outside.
Yeah, it's right here. Like, getting their attention is a way of connecting with that person. It is also a great way to gesture friends or family. We are in a generation of building relationships.
Are we now?
We are? Okay. That was just crazy to me.
We want to have many relationships and a lot of people that we can call our friends. It's in quotations. Our friends.
It's literally in quotations. People on social media, friends on social media are not your actual friends. This is bad, okay.
Social media is a highlight reel. It's the best parts of somebody's life.
Yes.
If they're going on a vacation, they're posting it. If they are at a concert, they're posting it. If they're just trying to be like, this is my house. If they are showing you their house, it's going to be a clean house. They're only showing you the perfect parts of their life.
And that's like, and when people see that, they're like, oh my gosh, their life is so perfect. I have to make my life that perfect. Or when they realize that their life isn't as perfect as what they're seeing on social media, then that can cause real problems like depression and anxiety.
Pull up the statistics. It's time.
It's time. Okay. Okay. Let me just really quickly go over the statistics, like suicide and depression rates, because I just mentioned that. Okay, so there's a 31% suicide increase in males, and the suicide rate for females is at a 40-year high as of 2015 because of social media. And then
it's been 10 years from 2015.
I just wonder how much has gone up since then.
I doubt the statistic has gone down.
Yeah, and then, let's see. There's a 13% increase of depression per hour spent daily on social media. And between 2010 and 2015, 2010, the magic year, not magic, bad magic,
The bad
year,
magic. The black magic.
the black magic year when cell phones and social media became like a real thing, there was a sharp spike of college students seeking counseling for depression and anxiety, a 30% increase there. And that's only continued to rise since COVID-19. So,
Because I feel like 2020 was a big year because people were like genuinely isolated in their homes, and like I guess the only way you could talk to people was through social media.
and so I feel like that's when like addiction really started
That's
becoming like a real thing,
a
a
real
real problem. Yeah.
I think it's gotten much worse since then.
Mm-hmm.
And again, addiction leads to all of these things like depression, anxiety, I don't know, ADHD in some ways, like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Then, hold on. Back to what I was saying before, it's like people want to, I'm talking more about Gen Z and Gen Alpha at this point. People want to fit in so bad, and I've had this question, it's like, how do trends just like sweep everything? Does one person do them, and then everyone else does them?
Yeah, I've always wondered that, like, how did this become a thing, and how did it become a thing so quickly?
So quickly.
And how does everybody know about it?
Like, who chooses what becomes a trend or not?
Yeah.
And because people want to fit in, they'll do these trends, different topic.
Yeah.
But
Do you want to move into that? Do we want to
dangerous
transition
social
now into Gen Alpha now?
Gen Alpha. Dangerous social media trends. There's so many of these. I chose
They're all so scary.
my favorites. The Tide Pod Challenge. I have some statistics for this. Injuries from ingestion, including it's like biting it, like you bite it, you spit it out, or even inhalation of the detergent, will potentially require intubation. Seizures will happen. You can excessively vomit, and you can die. I don't think there were any incidents of death linked to this, like to the spike of when this trend was going on. There have been deaths from it before, but that's mostly in infants. Around 190 intentional exposures in just the year of 2018 when this trend was really popular. Whew. And I mean, like, that's like hospital visits.
Yeah.
Why? It can't, like, This one is just something that really
I
frustrates me.
don't know why people are like it's such a problem that people are like so wanting to be seen and so wanting to be involved in social media that they're willing to put their own health at risk to put out a funny video or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the one chip challenge. This one it's less dangerous, but most of these trends are just ones that make me go, why? Why are we doing this? The one chip challenge is supposed to be the spiciest chip in the world. It is a singular chip, and I've seen a couple of these videos, and the people by the end, it usually like it shows them eating the chip, and then it like cuts to them. They're just absolutely dying, like there's tears, their mouth is red, and just like they're like panic.
That just does not sound pleasant.
No.
Like that's not something that I would want to do.
And then the facts behind it. This chip, like most spicy things, contains capsaicin, I think is how you pronounce it. Capaiscin. Capsaicin? Contains spicy chemical. And it's very irritating. It's what makes spice. Irritation from this chip can last for several hours to a few days in some people.
Again, not pleasant.
Not pleasant. Consumption of this can also cause more serious health problems, including shortness of breath, allergic reactions, chest pain, heart palpitations, and even heart attacks or strokes. Consumption of large amounts of capsaicin can also cause repeated vomiting that can lead to life-threatening esophageal damage.
Doesn't that just sound so fun?
That's so fun! The next one is just disgusting. Again, why? NyQuil chicken. People would cook chicken breast in like liquid NyQuil. Ew.
Yeah.
Why are you eating that? Why would you
Why would you want to like taste that much NyQuil?
I've never had NyQuil. I don't even know what NyQuil does. I just
pretty sure it puts you to sleep.
Researchy sounds, right? There's key components like the active ingredients in them. Heating the liquid NyQuil can remove the water that decreases the potency of the medications, so it'll become much stronger. You'll end up ingesting much more than probably safe because it's more potent.
Yeah, that's not good.
These ingredients, they're dangerous in high doses, and even if you don't eat the chicken, you're at risk by breathing the fumes while you're cooking it. Like, disgusting. Then the last one I want to talk about is the blackout challenge, where people purposefully make themselves pass out by like depriving themselves of air, and then like, I don't know. I remember we were at Lake Powell on the houseboat or whatever, and my cousins are like, bro, let's try the blackout challenge. It makes you pass out. And they're like, oh my gosh, yay, let's try this. And they were like stop breathing for a bit and then bang your head against the wall and see if you pass out.
Oh.
Yeah. The health concerns are damaging the larynx, permanent brain damage, and death as a result of both of those. I mean, obviously those aren't going to happen in every case, but like,
It's still dangerous.
it's dangerous, man. A quote from an article: depriving your brain of oxygen, even briefly, can cause permanent damage. We're talking seizures. I can't talk. We're talking seizures, brain injury, and death. In 2022, multiple families filed lawsuits against social media companies after children died attempting this challenge.
Why would you put yourself at
Why?
risk of death?
It's not fun.
No.
What else do
What
we want to talk about?
Maybe go back to screen time before bed.
Ooh, yes, screen time before bed.
So I did want to touch on that. Where is that research? That's not where it is. We'll cut this part out, maybe. Okay. This says, screen time before bed not only disrupts the amount of sleep kids are getting, but also their ability to remember things from the previous day. That's what I had mentioned before, and this is a quote that I found from an article. Using blue light emitting screen devices like smartphones before bedtime can disrupt sleep patterns by suppressing secretion of the hormone melatonin. Many teens who stay up late texting are not only getting less shut-eye, they're also lacking the deep REM sleep essential for processing and storing information from that day into memory. And then there's a quote from a pediatrician, and it says, so even if they stay awake in algebra class, they may not remember what happened in class yesterday. I found that really interesting. I was like, that's interesting that even if they were like in the class and they were participating, they might not remember because they were on their phone that night before bed. And so that's damaging their like their processing to store information from that day. So then they can't get that information, and so they don't remember the next day. I thought that was really interesting.
One more thing. Political sway in
Yes.
Gen Z specifically, and millennials. Let's see, 41% of Gen Z turn to social media platforms first when they're trying to look for information.
Oh dear.
So when Gen Z finds a person that they trust on social media, they see that person as more reliable than traditional media like Google, like Wikipedia, like those trustworthy sources. They see that person as a more reliable source because they know them
Oh,
and they trust them.
great.
And it's, I don't know, we talked about this in Social Dilemma, like there's the whole sway. Like, social media is very persuasive. It's very persuasive technology. I think that's like a legitimate term used to describe it. That's not good.
Yeah.
When people aren't, I don't know, critical thinking.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Critical thinking. Let's
Critical
do that.
thinking.
Anyways,
So, is that it? Do we want
That's-
to move to the outro now?
the outro.
The outro?
Okay, now to wrap up. Social media addiction can be really, really scary.
It can be.
I don't know, you see it in the way that Gen Alpha, they're not having childhoods because they would rather be on screens than be outside.
Yeah, well, that's so sad.
That is so sad. I don't know, my core memories are never of me inside watching shows.
No, of
Unless
course
it's like,
not.
oh my gosh, this nostalgic TV show that I used to watch.
Yeah.
It's not. I remember loving being on YouTube. They're not gonna think back and remember that.
No.
It's scary in the way that you see Gen Z relying on it for their information politically, and it can shape the world in a really scary way.
Mm-hmm.
You see it in the way millennials are relying on it for their community.
Mm-hmm. For their sense of identity, too.
Yes.
That's scary. If they don't know who they are because they're so obsessed with who they are on social media, then that's a really bad thing.
BuzzFeed quizzes.
Ooh. Yeah.
Then, I don't know, you see it in the way that boomers and Gen X are relying on it to, I don't know, they're just relying on it. It is a thing that
Relying on it to, like, especially with boomers, like, cope with either their health deteriorating or, like,
being isolated.
being isolated. And then,
Which I guess probably isn't their fault most of the time,
Yeah.
but it's scary.
but yeah, it's still scary that they feel that they have to turn to social media. So,
Yeah, that's it.
thanks for watching.